7 things women do wrong that pushes men away. We all know the story of how relationships begin. You see a guy in a bar, or in the library, or at your office. Your eyes meet. Your hearts start to race. He smiles. You smile. You go out and have a nice time. You go on a second date. After seeing each other a few more times, you start to think this could be the beginning of something great, something real, and suddenly things start changing. He stops calling. He ignores your texts, or he does return your texts, but he stops initiating them on his own and grows increasingly distant without explanation. Ghosting makes the end of a relationship far more difficult than it might have been than simply telling you the motivation for his departure. Here are 7 signs you are doing wrong with your man. 1. Texting more frequently than him. Do you initiate things more often? If your texts are double the number of his, your balance may be shaky. Calling or texting him frequently is not only bothering him, but a big turnoff. Nobody wants a partner who keeps disturbing them in the name of a relationship. So you need to live and give the required personal space. 2. Trying to grab his attention using physical intimacy. Overt sexuality at the beginning of a relationship, particularly before you have had a chance to get to know his preferences, character, and more about him as a person, can be a turn-off. When you throw yourself at a guy you basically don't know anything about, you risk losing his trust. You also communicate to him that you're not worthy of the chase. 3. If you interrogate him like a cop, are your questions about the nature of your relationship constantly related to where it's going and what he's thinking about in an almost accusatory tone? Questions like these at the onset of a relationship can appear desperate and controlling. 4. Too involved in him, not having your own life. When you overinvest in your guy, you give your power away. It's easy to start placing yourself second to others and not setting the proper boundaries. When you are excessively involved with your partner and don't have a personal life, this makes your guy take you for granted. And ultimately, he would become distant from you because nobody wants a partner who is always around his or her face. 5. Thinking negatively. This isn't referring to genuine concerns about your relationship or sharing how you feel. It refers to the negative questions and statements that try to elicit a response. For example, "Why don't you tell me you love me anymore?" Or "I guess you were going to break up with me." Instead of trying to pull out for information, just ask him. If you want a man to be straightforward, honest, and transparent, then act the same way. 6. Talking about the ex. If you bring up your exes or your past relationships, you are on the road to driving a man away. There is no reason to bring them up early on in a relationship. If you need a vent, go talk to your friends. 7. Saying publicly that you don't know any good men. Social media is great, but when you have put up a post or 2 or 100 saying why men suck, or why men are not any good, or how you don't know any good men, you are killing your chances. Men hear what you say, not what you mean. And if you keep saying that you don't know anyone, you will push the good men away until your statement becomes true. And you don't know any good men anymore. A word of advice. Men and women may differ, but the fundamental rules of relationships are the same for both. Both partners need to share mutual respect and trust each other. Insecurity and jealousy ruin the strongest of bonds. So look for these 7 signs and ensure you are not making these mistakes. Thank you for watching the video. Please like, share, and let us know your thoughts in the comments box.